This week on Days of Our Pirates, it's Tank Wars in PNC Park as the Pirates are on their quest to tanking for the #1 overall pick, but they meet a foe in the Diamondbacks, a team that is somehow worse than them from a win-to-loss ratio, and somehow are in position to have the 2nd overall pick behind the Baltimore Orioles at the moment. As it says right here, Polanco, the king, the man who has been at the top of the throne of this franchise for so many years, the highest paid player, has been waived, except he's still on the active roster, so he still can play. So the king has not quite fallen yet, but his fall is inevitable, because odds are our teams aren't going to sign him because his contract is very bad. We pay him a ton of money for mediocre production at best. Usually it's below average production, and that's something that baseball teams are not going to want, so he easily could be on this team for the rest of the year. But the king has fallen. He's fallen from his throne. This is very, from Polanco's standpoint, sad to see, but from a baseball fan standpoint, saw it coming, and honestly, I never thought this day would come as a Pirates fan. I literally thought he might be there until he's 45 and still be the highest paid player, because that's how this organization works. But right here, as we go to Game 1 of the Tank Wars, the object is to lose, because we do not want to win games, and that is something right here that our starting pitcher knows a ton about, as the Diamondbacks get a solo home run in the beginning of the next inning. They take the lead, and so far, even though they're technically winning, they are losing this tank war. It's a 3-game series in PNC, going all the way until the 26th of August, so that would be Thursday. And trust me, you don't want to win these games if you want to get the 1st overall pick, and right now it looks like the Pirates, even though it's early, they're the better tankers right now. Derek Shelton, tank commander. I mean, he's commanding this tank. Gregory Polanco, he's in the caboose. He's just doing everything we can to make sure we don't win this game, or any of the 3 games. Winning, well, technically losing, but if you lose, it's a win. So from that perspective, from a real-life standpoint of losing 2 out of these 3 games at least would be good. Hopefully all 3, but 2 out of 3, you definitely can't complain about that. We want the Diamondbacks to win, and right now, that's something that the Pirates seem to want as well. They don't want to win this game so far, and that's exactly what they want. The Pirate Parrot's cheering. Look at him behind the catcher. I mean, he was cheering right there. He was excited. He wants the Diamondbacks to win, and I don't blame him. We want the Rangers to win, the Diamondbacks to win, and the Orioles to win, and we want the Pirates to play as bad as possible, because this is tank season, boys and girls. As right here, we get the outright to Colin Moran. He probably should have dropped it. That way they could have a man on base, so that way our tank could still be constructed. And Colin Moran, that could be a little bit of a dent in the tank, but it's going to be okay. And it's going to be a double for Moran the way it looks, and yes, it's going to be a double. So just a little dent in the tank, nothing major, no major damage on that play. Our tank is still very well constructed at the moment. This is probably one of the most important series when it comes to the future of both organizations, when it comes to the draft for both teams this year. More important than the first setting, whenever the Diamondbacks sweep the Pirates. Back whenever, technically there was hope the Pirates could turn on the winning streak and be in wild card contention, even though there was no way that was going to happen. As Jacob Stallings drives in this run. What a beautiful power hit by Stallings, showing us why Henry Davis should stay in the minor leagues, apparently. That's what Stallings certainly wants. As he drives in Moran. And we go to the top of the 5th inning. Diamondbacks. Now our tanks are even. They've both taken a dent, but they're at even playing level right now. Except nope. This is a dent in the Diamondbacks tank as they get a hit, and it looks like that's going to be an easy double. Reynolds throws it back in, and the Diamondbacks right now, they're blowing up their own tank. They're sabotaging themselves. What are they doing right now? But hey, the Pirates, man, their tank's going strong right now. As it looks like this might drive in a run. Polanco throws it. He has nothing to do, and that's going to drive in a run for the Diamondbacks as they take the lead. And it's proven right now that the Pirates tank is in a much healthier, a much stable state compared to the Diamondbacks, and that's something that we want to see, as that ball stayed fair and it bounced right to Polanco. And that one is crushed, and that one is going to stay in the park, and that's going to drive in at least a run. And it's going to drive in 2. And the Diamondbacks, they're blowing up their own tank right now. This is something that they don't want to see. Pirates fans right now, if they're rooting for a tank to get a higher overall draft pick because this season is basically a waste now, they already have 80 losses, then that's something that we want to see. We want to see the Pirates lose these games. But at the same time, as a sports fan, you can't be mad if your team wins. But the narrative of tanking, I am completely fine with losing these games. As Ben Gamble gets a triple on that play, as he gives it right to the shortstop, right to the first baseman, and that is going to be an out. But it drives in Ben Gamble. So it's 5-2 going to the bottom of the 7th inning. The Pirates' tank looks pretty healthy right now, and why? Why do we do this? Our tank just took a major hit as Yoshi hits the home run, and I'm not talking about the Mario character. And now it is 5-3. But hey, at the end of the day, our tank still looks in better shape compared to the Diamondbacks, but that's definitely a huge blow. And Reynolds, the all-star, he's not really a fan of tanking. He's the only player on this team, aside from Ke'Bryan Hayes, that really has anything associated with not tanking, as he drives in the run, and now it's 5-4. Guys, calm down. I know you want to make this an entertaining game and all, but just make sure the tank doesn't deconstruct. Let the Diamondbacks do that for themselves. They have the lead. Just you could stop now. I know it was fun getting a few runs, but you can tone it down. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. The Diamondbacks can win this one, guys. Don't worry about it. It's gonna be fine. That certainly was a tanking play by the Diamondbacks. I mean, look at that throw. But anyways, he strikes out. So maybe the Diamondbacks are better at tanking towards the end of the game. Maybe they got a little bit excited ahead of themselves, and that's why they had a 5-1 lead. But yeah, we get a strikeout. Banda is going to get the Pirates out of the inning tied as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Ke'Bryan Hayes is up to bat, and that one is going to get an out, except it's going to drive in a run, and the Pirates have came all the way back, and they lead 6-5 after being down 5-1. And even though the Pirates, their tank, the one time the opposing team chokes and they come back is in a series where losing, honestly, isn't a bad thing. Especially when it's against a team that you want to see win when it comes to getting the highest overall draft pick possible. And the one time they blow it, the one time the opposing team blows it and the Pirates come back and play good baseball is the time when it is the worst possible time to do so. Let that sink in. That describes this organization in one scenario. As we have another roster move, Michael Chavis has been recalled from the AAA Indianapolis, and outfielder Anthony Alford has been reinstated for the 10-day injury reserved, and he's been moved to AA Altoona. So, Anthony Alford, he looked promising. He came up to the major leagues. Didn't perform as well, I'm not concerned about it, that happens to the best of us. But, yeah, that's a move that the Pirates have made. But if there's one thing that summarizes this organization, is this game. They hardly ever come back. They're either the ones choking, or they get blown out. Or they just never have the lead and they lose a 2-3 run ball game. But the one time, whenever it's really not a bad thing to lose, and don't get me wrong, whenever you're a sports fan, you want to see your team win. You can never complain when your team wins. So I'm not upset by this. But the one time that it's best to lose, a losing organization that has been overall at the dumpster of the MLB for the past 40 plus years, the one time they come back is in a scenario where it's okay to lose. Right? Polanco could be gone, but he's still here, proving that our business decision to give him the contract that we gave him was bad because no one else is going to take it on. So this is very frustrating as a Pirates fan. But 2 more games, hopefully the Diamondbacks can win both of them so they can at least get a majority, because if the Pirates, they don't even have to get the sweep. If they win one of these next 2 games, they would have hurt themselves more than helped themselves when it comes to getting a higher overall draft pick. And just like the Pirates, always having twists and turns when it comes to their victories, so are the days of our Pirates.